Alright, this is an audio commentary brought to you by Crota, and this is going to be a map on Twisted Meadows between Plaza Sushi and then Ciara. I'm going to go ahead and start the game at the 2-minute mark. We have a tome, a Voodoo Lounge being built outside the base here, creeping this orange knoll camp. Meanwhile, we have the peon already scouting, and we have fiends coming out from the undead. Now, we did get an early fiend, and that early fiend is going to be able to get some harassment in, so that is a very, very good play by Plaza Sushi. Plaza Sushi, from what I hear, Undead versus Orc matchup really favors the Orc player, so we're going to see how this plays out. Plaza Sushi makes a very, very good run, but does make some mistakes, and we'll see if those mistakes cost him the game. So here we have the fiend trying to get in some couple hits, trying to take down units, and just dealing damage to these two low hit point units right here. Now this is a mistake by Ciara, and we have a kill. That kill was actually given to the Death Knight. So the Death Knight able to get a kill steal from the last attack from the Crypt Fiend, and the Crypt Fiend was able to give a good 92 hit points or 92 experience to the demon, or the Death Knight. Now, I'll say this once and I'll say this again. A Blade Master without a Voodoo Lounge really cannot harass, really cannot do that much damage. So it should have been one of the top priorities for Plaza Sushi to, if not at least get this Voodoo Lounge out of the middle of the map where it's not as accessible. Here we have the Blade Master using some good micro, using the scroll speed, trying to take down the Death Knight. Death Knight getting pushed back, and the Blade Master is still in pursuit, trying to take down one of those fiends. Now the Death Knight and the fiends were doing a good job of keeping units from healing. The Blade Master was forced to already use 3 healing tabs this early in the game to try to heal his units, and there's already still a low hit point grunt, and the Blade Master is still regenerating some hit points as well. So that's always a nice move by the Undead player. Undead currently teching the Halls of the Dead, and is going to be teching the Tier 2 and eventually Tier 3. Tier 3 is very important for the Undead player just because of that Orb of Corruption. That Orb of Corruption, one of the best orbs in the game. Personally, as a human player, I find the Orb of Fire to be almost useless, but that's just my opinion. Now, Undead does a very good job of using the Blight Skull in order to give his units proper healing. Now, anytime he's creeping this orange camp with just fiends and skeletons, and is able to clear it out, get to level 2, and really just get a very early hero advantage early in the game. Meanwhile, we had the Blade Master trying to harass the building here, and trying to get into these acolytes. The acolytes were able to cancel and resummon that building, so and still protect themselves. Meanwhile, we have the Blade Master creeping this orange camp. Now, I don't know if Plaza doesn't see them. I don't know if the sight range on that particular skeleton, but he does not see them and is unable to get that final kill steal, preventing more additional experience to the Blade Master. The Blade Master currently sitting at about a quarter of the way to level 3 at 285 experience. Now, meanwhile, the Death Knight is going to be creeping with his fiends as well. Gets another, a Blight Skull, and is able to creep this very well without, taking any unit losses. So, Plaza Sushi has done his homework, is able to creep this camp without taking any unit losses, and really has a very large hero advantage. Level 3 Death Knight, very powerful, very strong, especially against the Blade Master, who doesn't have that many hit points and is more susceptible to magic attacks. That 200 damage Death Coil is very strong, and if he's constantly able to disrupt the healing from the healing cells, the Blade Master would go down. So we have the Blade Master trying to take out a couple of the fiends, we have the skeletons doing some extra damage, and we have the Death Knight down to 280 hit points. The Blade Master is forced to run away, forced to heal himself, as we have some nice blocking by the Death Knight to block a low hit point grunt. That grunt does go down, and now we have the Death Knight almost already to level 4. So we have almost a quick hit breaks, and we have a forced town portal. So we have Plaza Sushi able to get out, and we have a very good use of burrow throughout this game from Plaza Sushi. Plus the Sushi, using this almost like the StarCraft 2 units. I forget what their names are, but when they burrow, they regenerate hit points very, very quickly. So here we have the burrowed Crypt Fiend regenerating hit points quickly.
Forces are under attack.
Meanwhile, we have the Blade Master taking down these 3 gnolls over here. Now, there's going to be a number of instances where you may ask what's happening. Now the Lich here decides to go Frost Armor first. Now the Frost Armor first is a very good play, especially against the Blade Master. Blade Master and that additional 3 armor effectively gives 15% more life, if I remember my calculations correctly, to a unit. So that's like an additional 150 hit points against the Blade Master, which is effectively 1 critical strike. You know, 1 critical strike, 150 hit points, able to pull back, and also healing, and you know, doubly makes that more effective. And also that the slowness effect that Blade Master unable to get that 2nd or 3rd hit in as it's getting slowed. Now we have the Blade Master clearing out this orange camp, and this clearing out of this orange camp is going to be the key to the game, and you'll see why in just a second. We have a quick reveal by pulling the Death Knight back to the Goblin Laboratory. He wants to make sure that the Blade Master is not anywhere nearby. Blade Master is not anywhere nearby, and at this point, Death Knight should be thinking, okay, if he's not nearby, he should be creeping some high-level creep camp just like he is. But for some reason, Undead never ever checks this particular camp, and does not. And we already see peasants coming in to start rebuilding, or building an expansion here. Shadow Hunter currently sitting at level 2. Blade Master currently sitting at level 2 as well. Night Elf or Undead currently has a level 4 and a level 1, almost level 2 advantage with True Shot Aura. This would be the time to press the attack. And but Undead at this point is just scared. Undead needs to attack at tier 2. With those fiends, delay the tech of the bestiaries, so that he can't get ensnared down. That's just my opinion. If he was to be able to delay that tech, make sure raiders can't come out as well. Those fiends would be able to survive with statues and the level 2 death coil from the Death Knight. Here we have the Blade Master trying to run in, and Blade Master is greatly outmatched. The level 4 and almost level 2 Lich. As soon as level 2 Lich comes down, we're going to have Frost Nova, and we're going to be having units being nuked left and right. Potion of Lesser Invulnerability be bought by the Death Knight and run away. See, you saw that slowness on the Blade Master. The Blade Master unable to really do any damage, and after only getting 1 hit into the Death Knight. Now we have creeping going on up top. Creeping trying to go on. Now here, a lot of pro players no longer keep Scrolls of Town Portal, so this actually costs Sushi just a little bit. So he's forced to try to take down. He's forced to walk back this whole entire time, and we have a very good micro of the slow on the Nerubian towers. The Nerubian towers, he's microing these towers so that different units are slowed at different times. Here we have the Orb of Corruption quickly taking down a couple of these raiders. These raiders losing 5 armor is effectively losing 30% of their hit points by having that debuff from that Orb of Corruption. So 30% of their hit points, very significant. Now, I'm going to take this pause in the action. Actually, well, here there's going to be a little bit fight here between the fiends and the army of Undead versus the Orc player. Now this shop is still here. The shop, there's no reason for this shop to still be here. He should have easily taken it out. Meanwhile, we have the Undead player trying to circle back around. He thinks that Orc is going to be perhaps pushing an attack, but instead he decides to creep and is able to get a couple more creep kills. And I'm going to go ahead and pause the game here and stay tuned for part 2 of this replay.